3, 4, and all right. With the hour being after
The other Carl Waldorf.
7 o'clock. Oh, okay, there you are on the call. We end with a quorum. I'll open the meeting. First item is the vote of the meeting notes of the 14th of October and was it January? Kate, what was that date, please?
7th,
7th?
January 21st.
Oh, of the 3? Okay.
Yeah.
I made that in form of motion. Do we have a second for discussion?
Second.
Second for discussion. Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jack? Aye. Okay. And I got a request from Mike Donovan, wants me to, if I want to do the hosting. Yeah, do you want me to kill the whole meeting right now? It will go black.
That's fine. That's fine. I just got to make sure I scoot home, and I got a son waiting for me to help him out with his homework. So I'm going to try to get back to the house as soon as possible.
Okay, well, if you just leave it open, Mike, or teach Kate how to host it.
Yeah, it's good to go. You guys have screen sharing and all that, and it shouldn't be impeded in
Okay.
any way.
Okay, all right. All right, and the first business before the 7:05 discussion, we have, I believe the A&R. Is that John Glosser?
That's me, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. You want me to see if I can put it up?
If you can, yeah.
Yeah, I always have fun trying to find these little things. So,
And while you're trying to put it up, Kyle, you've looked at this? Kyle Baldoff 2?
Yes, Seabalder. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have looked at it. I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Okay, this is part 2 of this, John. You already did one
Yeah.
before, correct?
Yeah, so the original one, I don't know if you're going to see this now or not. Let's see.
I'd like to see the difference between the two if possible, yeah.
All right, let me see if I can start all over here. Can you see that, or is it just me that's seeing it?
Just you.
Just you.
You just see me?
See you.
That's because I'm not opening it correctly. Oops.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And I lost my little. Going around and around. Well, I might have to just explain it to you.
Jack, maybe we want to remind everybody what we voted on.
Which
On
was-
what's this, A&R?
Well, just if the applicant is unable to display what we're discussing,
Okay,
that we, as a board, agreed that we wouldn't proceed.
Correct.
all right,
Thanks, Sarah. Yep.
all right.
I mean, let's give him a minute. Maybe he can figure it out. But just Katie, do you want to summarize what we agreed on?
No, so John, we had a discussion last meeting because we want to make sure that everyone, it's because the meetings aren't in person, we want to make sure everyone's on a level playing ground and that the neighbors and everyone have a fair, they're not at a disadvantage. So we want to make sure, just because we can see it, we received it, we want to make sure that everyone can see it. So we had a discussion as a board that if it can't be displayed so that everyone can see it equally, it would be continued to the next meeting.
Yeah, it should be able to be displayed. It's just that.
Yeah, because I don't
Take
have
your time.
to do it on this. I wish-
Well, I shouldn't be saying that. Jack's in charge. Sorry, Jack.
So
There you go, he's done. No, John got it.
You got it.
Okay, you can see it now?
Yes.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, so
Yeah,
sorry
so-
about that.
So, no, as soon as you get the files, John, we can see it.
So I'm gonna hand off the meeting to you.
Not to me, but to Jack. I don't know how
Okay. So you can or cannot see the plan?
We can.
We can see the plan.
Okay, so the last time, and I think Phil mentioned,
Do you have myself?
the applicant purchased,
Driving home, but it takes me about a
Okay.
half hour.
Hold it 1 second. Anybody in the audience, please mute your microphone. I'm getting back feed from everybody. So would you just put the mute button on? Thank you.
so the applicant purchased a piece of property from the abutter here on Mulberry Lane. And there was a subdivision with this lot being just 20,000 square feet. But I think what the applicant found out, and kind of what I told him at the time, was when you apply all the setbacks, that there wasn't really a lot of room to build a house here. So now he has purchased the property, and I talked to Mr. Mackey, to Attorney Mackey, about this. We don't need to show interior lines anymore because it's all one person's property. It's the Dorothy Foley, or the Doris Foley Trust. So now we're just taking that plan and we're just subdividing it into 2 lots. So it's residential B zoning. So we need 125 feet of frontage on the street. Both lots have that. We need to have either 125 feet of frontage or 100 feet, 125 feet width or 100 feet here. Both lots have that. Both lots have 20,000 square feet or more. It is in Water Resource Protection District. I think it's in 3. I can't quite get there, but it's in Water Resource Protection District 3, and it needs to be, they're connected to the sewer. Both lots need to be connected to the sewer. So that's what's going on. As I said, it's both lots conforming to zoning, and it's just a configuring of the interior lot lines on the land that's owned by the Doris Foley Trust. That's it, Mr. Chairman. Doris M. Foley Trust.
All right. Kyle, you have anything to add?
No, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Goss has covered it. We did check everything, and as he mentioned, the previous A&R was recorded and there was some land swapped around, and everything appears to be in order. And I also reviewed it with the building commissioner, just to make sure that there were no issues with zoning, and he was also satisfied with it.
Okay, thank you. Any board members? As I go down, I'll start at the top on my screen. Kate, Sarah?
I don't have any questions. Looks good.
Kate?
No questions.
John, Carl Baldoff, O'Leary?
Mr. Colossus, so if I understand correctly, the previous A&R, basically the back lot was part of lot 1, and now it's been added instead to part of lot 2?
More or less, yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's correct.
Okay, and since I can't see him, but I know he's there, Phil?
No questions.
Okay. All right, with the no questions, I'll make a motion to endorse an A&R for was it 1350 summer?
130,
I'm sorry, 130 summer?
correct.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay, from Sarah. Any discussion? All in favor? Sarah?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Jack? Aye. All right. Vote. There you go, John. 500.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board. Thank you, Carl, and thanks for indulging me on getting the plan up onto the screen.
Excuse me, Jack, I need a vote to sign everybody's names again.
Oh, okay. Well, that's going to be discussion. We got TMZ plans that people had said they wanted to do it. So I don't have an issue with Kate signing. Does anybody have an issue with Kate signing the A&R? Phil, you care one way or another?
No.
All right, she can just initial all of us. Sarah?
That's fine, yeah.
Katie?
It's okay with me.
John?
Renee and I, yeah.
Okay, all right, me too. So Kate, you can just sign it for us and initial it however you do that, okay?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, hey, John,
Yes.
you know the other file you put up? That was pretty good. Was your taxes?
Anyone get a snapshot of it, or?
Oh, yeah.
It's all on video, we got it.
All right. Night, John.
Thank you.
Okay, hour being after 7:05, discussion Walpole Housing Partnership as requested by Phil. So go ahead, Phil.
Okay, thank you, Jack. So at the January 6th meeting of the Walpole Housing Partnership, which I'm a member, the Housing Partnership voted to ask the planning board to join in a collaborative committee to work on moving forward, seeing if we can move forward on the inclusionary housing zoning bylaw, housing bylaw. And the idea was to have a joint committee made up of members of the Housing Partnership, the Planning Board, and also invite the Zoning Board of Appeals to work on this together. One or two members from each committee. There would be a way to ensure that all the parties involved have had their input and have had an opportunity to help frame the inclusionary zoning. Now, my sense was, based on the questions that came up at the October hearing, that there were a lot of questions that seemed to come up at the end, and this should be an opportunity to answer those. And I think I want to commend Sarah for, she'd come up with a proposal, and she's not looking for us to vote on that, but it just showed how we could address a lot of these questions and probably come up with something that would be more acceptable to our board and to the other boards. So this is an opportunity. Our town needs more affordable housing. I think we all recognize that. This is a small step. It's not the only step, but it's certainly a small step forward. We also need to address the fact that we need to take control of 40B projects, and we can do that by getting to our 10% for affordable housing. So the proposal on the table is for us, the planning board, to join in this joint committee and again assign one or two members and work on coming up with a new a revised article. And there's also an opportunity to reach out more to the community if that be needed, to answer more of the questions. So I look at this as a positive step. I think it's a lot better for us to move on this sooner than later. And the planning board is uniquely positioned to do this because we can bring this up without having to be concerned about having to make substantial changes in a motion so that we don't violate the two-year issue. So it requires our vote to move this forward in town meeting if we're not making substantial changes, and that would be a debate on what is a substantial change. So that is the proposal, and I really urge our board to take this step. I think it would be a good example, a good start of how we could work together in these kinds of bylaws, zoning bylaws, working with the other appropriate boards, depending on what that bylaw changes. So that is my motion then, was that we, that we join with the proposal. And Andrew Flowers, chair of the committee, by the way, did send a letter on January 19th with the details of the vote by the Housing Partnership. So my motion is that we accept that invitation from the Housing Partnership and work with them to form a joint committee to work on the inclusionary housing zoning bylaw.
Sorry, I didn't see I was muted. Sarah, oh, next in line.
Yeah, I think I commend Phil for bringing this forward. I agree with what he said. I mean, the planning board members, myself included, had some, concerns with what was presented for town meeting. So this gives us an opportunity to address those concerns, to work with the Housing Partnership, to work with ZBA, to work with the select board, to work with the community, and really come up with a solution. Because I think, town meeting, and I think a lot of us agree that this is an issue that we need to work on and we need to address and look for reasonable solutions. So I think it's great. I'm very interested in finding a solution and coming up with something that works for the community, works for the business community, the residential community, and the relevant boards. So I'm in support.
Okay, Kate?
So Phil, I have a question I think you could probably answer. I don't know. I don't think it has to go back to Andrew, but has the Housing Partnership acted on any of the suggestions that were given? For example, have they scheduled, they had never met with the ZBA. And I was scratching my head and I voiced the question. So it's coming back to, in my eyes, I have no problem working with them. I never have, and I've worked all along every time we've been asked to. And I support working together moving forward. But I don't think it should be, I don't understand why everyone, so it appears to me from the correspondence we keep getting from the outside world that we sort of have been depicted as, what's the word I want to use? We're the hindrance here. We have obstructed things sort of like purposely. When I read the letters, I sit and even the letter from Ben that came, I sat and said, I don't understand, because we did work together actively, but yet the zoning board, who should also be very much involved, was never even approached or presented to. And I think I'm a broken record because maybe this is the third meeting where I've said this, but so again, here we are and the letter is come to us, but where's the zoning board? Have they received a letter? Were they invited to be included? Have any other boards or groups been? So if you're going to do this, I am not opposed, and I think, yes, we should work together. So understand that, absolutely. But I don't think it should be a couple of members from the planning board, a couple of members from the Housing Partnership. Housing Partnership is the chief on this one. And I think it's great they want to collaborate because I think that's what will get it done. And I think it makes a lot of sense. So I'm glad they're making that motion. But I think it has to be a bigger effort. And I think if it's just us and them, first of all, I don't think that's enough. And second of all, I think that they should be looking that way, looking to collaborate with everyone so that it is input from everyone that makes sense and makes it work. I think that's how it's going to work. Have they reached out to anybody else, or is it just that they're trying to appease us because they feel we are the trouble, the ones stopping it?
Well, I can't answer for all the members, but I would say that the whole purpose of this, and this comes from the Housing Partnership, is to form a collaborative committee, a joint committee, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Housing Partnership, and our board, the Planning Board.
So the Zoning Board of Appeals was invited? They got a letter
But
to?
we haven't, we didn't do that yet, and I think that's partly because we were looking to say that we want to make sure the Planning Board also supports doing a joint committee. So
That doesn't make sense to me. Like that's like saying, okay, I invited Shirley over. Now I can invite Susie because Susie won't come unless she hears Shirley's on board. Like it should be,
I can assure you
it should be a true collaboration. It shouldn't be
I can assure you the intention is to invite the Zoning Board of Appeals with the Planning Board and the Housing Partnership, and to have a joint committee of the three. And I think this is an opportunity for us to move past. There may be a lot of things happened, and we may not like everything that happened, but this is a chance to move past that. Let's bring the three boards together. Let's collaborate, and for the good of the town, let's move forward with the inclusionary zoning bylaw. So I can assure you that the intention is to invite the Zoning Board of Appeals as well.
it just makes me uneasy. I just feel like I'm not uneasy about working together. I'm uneasy with the way things are run. I really am. I feel like it's fly by the seat of your pants and there's no structure. Maybe it's because maybe it's because of what I do for a living. Everything's documented and you write everything out. But I just feel like this is, it's an official capacity. It should be handled like one. And I think if invites are going to go out, like we had to ask for the letter, I think that it just seems to me the letter should have gone to the ZBA at the same time. So I just feel like moving forward, we have to be more, this is a big deal. And I think it needs to be done like it's a big deal. And I think it has to be taken, professionally and seriously and handled that way. And I would like to see, yes, I am in favor of working together. I always have been. So don't say take it that I'm not saying I'm not. But I almost am hesitant to vote yes without zoning board being invited, because I don't know if that's how we're really moving forward. It doesn't seem, I don't know. I've never worked this way before. I guess that's my problem. I've never worked so unofficially, I guess. I don't know.
Well, like I said, this is a chance for us to move forward. I think the reason for starting with the planning board is because they were looked upon that the planning board has to be the one, depending on how substantial or not substantial a new article is framed, needs to be the one to vote to move it forward. So that was why I think there's been a lot of attention to the planning board. But I will say that the intention is to invite the Zoning Board of Appeals, and to have the three boards, and to, as Sarah said, to invite other input.
It definitely has to be other input. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what I think everybody's looking for.
I've been begging for that all along.
Well,
and I also think they should be reporting back to the selectmen. I don't know that that's occurred too. Like they should be official reporting back when you're a committee of the selectmen.
Yeah, I don't want to get it. I mean, obviously the housing partnership members, we may think differently of what happened, but I don't think that's important right now. So, again, let's move forward.
I think it's important when it's being depicted to the outside that we sort of were the hindrance. And that bothers me because that's not the case at all. I can speak for myself.
But what I'm trying to do
I work together with you guys hard.
But what I'm trying to do tonight is not even make that an issue. I think.
I'm just responding to what you said. That's all I'm doing.
So, but what I'm trying to do is move by all those things. Let's not bring them up again. Let's figure out, for the good of the town, how do we move forward on something that the town needs? And I think we can set a good example if we do that. Now, if we can address invitations, and we might argue we should have done that first, but here we are. The intention is good, and I think it is an opportunity for us to make this big step forward. I think town meeting spoke. It wasn't the supermajority, although as we know, the zoning bylaw change vote has now changed with the Governor Baker's housing initiative. But I think what's we want to take away from town meeting is that there was a significant interest. More than 50% voted for the inclusionary zoning. It's an opportunity for us to take that and actually do something with it. So let's get the input. Let's bring the three boards together. Let's go back and get more input. And again, I think Sarah showed there's a lot of things that could be done to frame this in a way that'll make it more acceptable to all the different parties. So that is the intention of this.
All right. All set. Kate?
I'm all set.
All right. Can I mute you?
Sure.
I don't know how.
Yes.
You're lucky. I don't know how. John?
My outlook on this is began as a Walpole Housing Partnership project, and it should basically remain such. I agree that input from both planning board and the zoning board is a good idea, and having a couple of members from each board be able to attend your hearings to provide input, to throw out ideas, or say, this doesn't sound right, this should be different, this doesn't work. And I think we just want to keep it as the Walpole Housing Partnership is the main driver of this, and the other boards are coming in to provide their expertise in saying, okay, within this section here, we think going in this direction may be better than the way it's written now. So I look forward to being able to provide input to it. I just don't want to lose the track that Walpole Housing Partnership is the driving force for this. Thanks.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, could I just say something?
And go ahead.
Just in response to what John had said, I think, the idea is to be more collaborative. It's not to have planning board take over. The whole idea is so that we can collaborate. So we can have, let's say 2 members of the planning board, 2 members of ZBA, and 2 members of housing partnership, so that they can work together in a collaborative fashion, that they can work on the outreach to the broader community that is needed, to the developer community, to the RTMs, to the residents. So I think what Phil is proposing is in line with what you are saying that you're in favor of. So I would urge you to support the motion.
Okay. All right. I have some comments. Well, first off, my comments are right off the bat is I had to pull this out of the housing partnership to get a letter. So right off the bat, I'm already carrying the water. You know what? I get that at work all the time. I end up carrying everybody's water. I don't carry water, all right? They've sent nothing to us. I had to ask for it. And more importantly, you would have thought that if this is so important for us to do, they would have had an outline of who's going to do what and da-da-da-da-da. Haven't seen it. And remember, folks, Walpole Housing Partnership is an appointed committee by the selectmen, so I haven't heard boo from the selectmen on this. So if you go by the pecking order, that should have been done too. My own personal view is I got on the planning board to do planning board business. I didn't come on for my own views of what should be Walpole and any social views. Whatever we have for zoning, whatever we have in the subdivision, that's what I came for. And I tell you what, I've worked very simple. Life in the unions, I work with union guys all the time. Labor does the digging, the carpenter does the hammering, the mason lays the bricks. So that's kind of the way I feel here is The housing partnership is the housing partnership, and they should be doing within theirs. And for asking us to come over and really take it from them, but once again, I'll reiterate the fact that I haven't seen anything come from anybody other than my request to see what happened, and it was a letter from Andrew Flowers. Matter of fact, there wasn't even any approved meeting notes. And if you go back on it, and I'll hop on this, is the fact they have one meeting since town meeting to discuss it in November. They've had nothing since. That doesn't make sense. If this was such a burning issue in people's bellies, they would be all over it. But it doesn't seem to be. What it seems to be is let Big Brother take it, which is, I assume, us. Now, what was said tonight, kind of, I don't know if everybody caught it, but I caught it very succinctly when Phil said, well, we need the planning board because they have to bring it back per the state laws. And if and if there's only a small amount of changes. That's what was said. Okay, I'm not going to get into debate with you, Phil, if you say different, but that's what you said. So basically what you said is you need us because we're the only ones that can bring it back, but we don't want to make any substantial changes. So you basically asked us to break trail for you. And that's the only way you get back on town meeting, to keep it pretty much what everybody wanted. So really, this is not a collaborative effort. This is not an effort for everybody to look at everything. This is basically like, guys, we need you to give us a ride. Very simple. And no free rides from me. Absolutely not. And when I heard that, it's like, no. So we are not being asked, Kate and John, I know Sarah's for it. We're not being asked because we're so wonderful, we have such great input. We're being asked from a legal standpoint because we're the only ones that can bring it back with only a few changes that aren't enough substantial to view it as a different article. I don't think everybody picked up on that, but I sure did. And right now, sorry, nope, not from me. Thank you.
So Jack, I do need to answer this. So first of all, I think you should take my comments in what they were intended. And
Phil, I told you I'm not going to debate it. You said it right out. I'm going to get a little over the top. You said you need us to bring this back to town meeting. Done. That's what you said. Because it changes. Now you said it right on tape. I don't have a tape recorder to pull it back, but you need us to make this go through again the way you people want it. So you just want us on board to give you the rubber stamp. That's what was said. I know, and I think most people know, is if you change the article substantially, you could bring it back, but anybody could bring it back, but there doesn't seem to be anybody wanting to do that. They want to keep it within what they have and make a change in a comma or a period or even a italic. And that's what you had said. And that's, when I heard that, it's like, no, done. Thank you very much.
what I said, and first of all, I think we should go into these things looking that people have pure intentions. I kind of take a little offense that you're thinking that I'm coming in here with some,
Phil, you said it. You said it. You needed us. You said you needed us to bring it back to town meeting.
What I said, I was just trying to say that the problem with making changes to any bylaw, and this is my own impression about this, is that first of all, I applaud what I said what Sarah did. She showed that there's a lot of changes that can be made, and I'm sure people are very open to them. What I was getting at was once you start making any change to a zoning bylaw, I was reading about what is substantial and what's not substantial, and that was strictly what I was trying to say. This is what we don't need to worry about. And that was not meant to say that it's going to look like what we had before. I think people are willing to change, whatever we get this done. So from my perspective, that was me saying it, but it was not intended to imply that I'm looking for the planning board to rubber stamp whatever it was. We are genuinely looking for the three boards to come together for the good of the town.
Right.
And if we don't get away from this suspicion and this claim of
Phil,
motivations,
please,
then we're never going forward.
Phil, one thing is I write everything down, okay? Yeah. And I'm not going to go with suspicion and throw out all these little words. You said very succinctly, we need the planning board to bring it back before basically the 2 years are up. That's what was said. No ifs, ands, or buts, Phil. That's what you said right out of the gate.
It is what I said, but the reason I said it was because I think the housing partnership, when we met, we looked at it and said, well, this may not be able to come back for 2 years. We need to get the planning board to be part of the process.
Be part of the process so that you can get it at town meeting.
Well,
The housing partnership right now could go recreate a whole article and ask if that's substantially different. But it seems that nobody's wanted to go that route because they think I'm only guessing, they think what they got is great. All right? But you asked, we got invited to the dance, or we got invited to the party, and I'll say it, because we're bringing the beer.
Wait. I think we need to take this for intentions and not be so suspicious. No, I'm not being suspicious. You said it. I don't make this stuff up. You're reading into it something that I am not. How do I read into something where you said we need you to bring this back? You said it. I did. Because I said that again. Just to go through it again, I said that because if you want to make this very clean, bringing back however form the article might be in, and this is not to imply it's going to be anything like it is now. I was just trying to make the point that this way it avoids any questions about whether it's a substantial change or not. When I was reading through some of the issues with bringing back articles, you get into a debate what is substantial, and that becomes the Attorney General's question. And I wasn't sure what substantial is. So I was just kind of, what I was really getting at was this way we don't need to worry about it. Because and by the way, if you go back to the real intention, the intention is to get the planning board part of this. We want to get the support, and we want to get input from the planning board. The planning board raised a lot of issues, and some people might think that all these things happen at the end. So let's just get the three boards together. Let's collaborate, and it's for the intention of being really collaborative. So I don't, if you misinterpreted my words, I'm sorry, but that's what the intention is. And let's move this forward.
Okay, all right. I hear enough. What has the housing partnership done since November to move this forward, to take anything that was brought out by any one of our members? Has anything been discussed? Anything been thought about going back to consult or anything? Have you had any meetings on that?
Well, what the housing partnership thought was that let's just, and this is where this came from, is let's bring everybody together and discuss it.
Okay, so we all brought out issues.
Yes.
And laid them out, and the housing partnership has not reacted to them in any form, whether that's seen good, bad, or indifferent. They basically have done nothing since town meeting regarding what was disagreed with or what were issues. Is that a fair statement?
Let me say it this way. This is an opportunity to bring the three boards
together. I understand, Phil, please answer my question. Have they dissected what was said, what was the catalyst to not get voted? Has any of that been pulled apart to see were we right, were we wrong, how might they change it different? Has anything on that article been dissected since town meeting?
Mr. Chairman?
No, I'm asking a question. That's all. It's a very simple question. You went down in defeat. What have you done since you defeat to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and try to figure out what happened and how to get it going? That's all I'm asking. Has that happened?
It's important to note that this article was sponsored by the select board. It wasn't sponsored by the housing partnership.
I understand that, Sarah, but they were the ones out in front for it. But that's a minor issue. My question is, they were appointed, the housing partnership has a charge, and their article didn't get through town meeting. So did they come back? Because I've been on the building committee many, many years, and if we had something that went over budget, right after it was bid over budget, we went back and we ripped it apart, trying to make it under budget. Okay? My point here is, has the housing partnership done anything to address any of the stuff, to research anything out, or since town meeting?
Jack.
Yes or no? That's a yes or no question.
There was a discussion, but I think what's important is...
Okay, then nothing's been done. Thank you.
We need to... Why? How is this very positive? Let's move forward.
No,
bring the boards together. Why blame?
Also, to answer your question, Jack, on the January 6th meeting of the Housing Partnership, they voted 500 also to be in support of the proposal that I put forward.
That's correct.
But you put it forward, they didn't.
Correct.
So, but why?
Correct, but they approved, you know, moving
Okay,
forward and having that further vetted.
We're going around and around, and basically, and like Katie proved the point is, Sarah, you had to do it, they didn't do it.
I think so, but Jack, let's go back. I was trying
Phil,
to bring up
with the
things
planning board, I am not in the business of getting out of my sandbox and going to somebody else's. And I'm also not in the business of getting somebody who's too lazy to get out of bed and get up and go to work. That's what we got here.
That is totally,
Nobody's done nothing.
That is totally unfair.
That ain't unfair, it's the truth.
The housing partnership. Wait, let me talk. The housing partnership worked really hard to try to bring this to a form that would be acceptable. There was a lot of meetings. Now we contended with the pandemic, so there were some things that were planned that were not possible. We went out and tried to get as much as input as we could. We were very surprised that last hearing, and where there were a lot of issues that came up that hadn't been, at least we hadn't heard before. So again, to think that the housing partnership is lazy and not doing its job is totally unfair. I think that the feeling was, okay, there's a lot of issues that came up from the planning board. Let's bring everybody together and talk together about it. To think that the planning board has no responsibility for these things is totally wrong. When some board comes up with a zoning bylaw article, I think that the planning board should be very involved to make sure it fits in with the current bylaws and to use the expertise of the planning board to make sure that it's framed right. So I think this is an opportunity for our three boards to come together and go forward. We should show positive action.
Okay. I don't go with the positive. Let's kumbaya. I don't go with that. I am a worker. You do things the way it's supposed to be done. Happen by training.
I agree with you, but I don't agree with the way you're saying it needs to happen. I think the way it could happen is with this.
Well, Phil, very simple. Your housing partnership avoided coming to us at all. Never asked our input before they filed the article. Wouldn't it have been smart at that point to give it to us for our look-see? No, because my opinion, and my opinion only, is I would have found stuff that I found later on. Why wasn't that done?
So I don't want to really get into a discussion about what happened when and who did what.
Okay, but I'm getting to this.
I don't think that's positive. I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
No.
I think we need to move on.
You know what positive is? Positive is pull yourself up by the bootstraps and do your own work. And that's what we haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
if the housing partnership came through and said, we want to do this, these meetings, this and this and this, came from them in a meeting and even came and wanted an appointment with us, it'd be a whole different story. No, you are representing them and we have no idea what went on.
Jack, this is totally unfair. The housing partnership tried to collaborate. And like I said,
why is it unfair, Phil? We're sitting here February 4th and nobody's moved off the dime since October.
But here's an opportunity for us to do something.
No, opportunity for us, meaning me.
It's an opportunity for
I shovel my driveway. Let them shovel their own driveway.
Well, Mr. Chairman, members of the planning board are to guide and direct for Walpole's orderly growth, okay? So our charge is not to just show up every, twice a month to vote on subdivisions, right? People expect us to play a central role in planning for Walpole's growth. So
yes, and planning within the planning, but the Walpole Housing Partnership has a specific charge. That's their charge for this, not ours.
But Jack, anything that's a zoning bylaw is part of the business of the planning board.
Okay.
And so I think, again, however we look at things happened in the past, whatever mistakes were made or whatever, let's go forward because let's do this for the good of the town. We have all these 40B projects coming along. We have this desperate need for affordable housing.
Phil, I'm not going to get in. I don't want to get into the text of the.
What does it do to the residents of Walpole to argue about things like this?
Since we have a lot of people,
let's go forward and do something positive.
Since we have a lot of people on the line, I want to explain something very simple. This will not take care of the 40Bs based upon what was presented to us back in October.
Absolutely.
Has zero effect.
It'll help.
Help? No. But I just, the push that this is going to help us with 40Bs is a misstatement. It is not. It's a bump on the road, okay, at the least. But anyway, I think we've gone enough. And
Mr. Chairman, are you going to hear from any member of the public?
no, because this is our discussion. It's not a public it's a public meeting, but nobody had anything to do with this. This is not open forum like the selectmen do. So there's no reason to have anybody. This was a discussion among planning board members.
Okay, just wanted to have that addressed.
So if they had wanted to come and discuss this, if the housing partnership, then they should have requested an appointment, sent in what they wanted to talk about. We didn't see that. This was at Phil's request. I appreciate Phil. I want you on my side, Phil, because you are great at pushing. I know, I got nothing. You and I differ, but I do respect what you've done, but we got to go by the rules. And if someone wanted to do it, that's the way we do it. With someone from the housing partnership and want to come in and outline everything. That's not an issue.
I represented the housing partnership doing this.
No, I understand that, Phil. But
Raises an issue, though, as has occurred in some of the past boards. If we have members of our board who are also members of other committees, they come up with a conflict of interest issue. Are they representing the planning board? Are they representing the other board? And it's something that must be considered anytime this situation has risen.
Yeah.
Question for Sarah. I read what some of your proposals that you came up with for modifications.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what was the distribution for that? Was that sent out to other boards, or was that just for other members of the planning board to review?
I put it out publicly. I emailed it to several people that are requesting. I held a couple Zoom forums to discuss it. But, if and when it ever goes forward, it needs to go out, more officially.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Sarah has spent some time and created some framework for alterations. And what we need is for the housing partnership to maybe take what Sarah has come up with and see how it works in comparison to what they originally presented. And
well, I think what we have tonight is a vote on whether the planning board would like to be a part of the process, whether we would like to, designate 1-2 members and ask for collaboration to move this forward.
So the purpose is to make sure that when the housing partnership comes up with something, that it's going to be something everybody else agrees with, without waiting till things at the end. Let's get it done with at the beginning.
okay, now just
Can I say something? Jack, can I say something?
gonna anyway.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
So, as I said, I am willing to, and have in the past, so nothing's different. I'm willing to work on it. However, before I say we're going to work in this official capacity, I want to see
Somebody's on here, Mark, maybe it's on here.
that we have the zoning board and maybe other parties involved.
Isn't it, see, Jack won't even go on the Zoom. Like, he's on it, but he never shows his face. Because he wouldn't do a meeting for a while.
Okay, mute yourself. Someone's accusing me of not being on there. Yeah, my face isn't there because I can't fix my computer to do it. Whoever said that, that's fine. I got no issue with that. But please, mute yourself. This is not a public hearing where the audience gets to talk. This is right now a discussion among board members. Thank you.
So to continue my ramble, I felt repeatedly during this whole process, we put a lot of time in, we gave comments, and I felt that we were pacified. It was, they wanted to hear what they wanted to hear. They wanted to keep things the way they wanted to keep things, and they changed just as much as they had to think they had to keep us happy. I want a true collaboration if this is going to be, because we have been depicted as the bad guys, and we continue to be depicted as the bad guys. And I know that because people have passed on what has been said to me. And I do take that personally, because I have had nothing but good intentions, and I have put time in, and I have truly worked to make positive movements on this. And I hesitate because I don't know that I trust everyone involved. I really don't, because of the way this has gone down, as far as the behind the scenes part of it, not the public part of it, the behind the scenes part of it. And as a result, I want to know that I'm not just putting my time in and it's a joke, really, because I feel a lot of it was a joke as far as how I was pacified. I guess that's the best way to put it. So I want to know before I vote in favor. I'm not opposed to working together. I've always said I'm not opposed to it. I don't even think there needs to be a vote to say you're going to do it, because I think we have never not done it. But I want to know, I mean, we sat on those tennis courts in the freezing cold. And Jack asked, has the zoning board been involved? John Lee shook his head no. And then things progressed, and on Facebook, by the chairman of the committee, your committee, it was represented that they had been. It was not blatantly represented, but indirectly inferred that there had been a meeting and it had been done. And it had not been done. I want to know everything is moving forward on the up and up. I am willing to work with anyone that's going to help the town in a positive way for anything.
Well,
But I don't want to be made a joke out of. And I don't want to be blamed and criticized when I am doing the right thing and being told to do the right thing when I've already done the right thing.
Okay.
So I really I think I personally want to hear from the zoning board. I want to hear that we're not the only ones. I want to hear this is a true effort, that everyone's really doing it and not just appeasing us and trying to, make it look like something's happening when nothing's happening.
All right.
And again, I just want to say,
don't say, move forward and all of that. I have moved forward. I don't hold a grudge. I'm not like that. But I also don't want to continue the mistakes that have been made in the past, the mistakes that you put time in and it's not really being at all heard or listened to or respected.
Okay.
So I want to hear from the zoning board that the zoning board's involved and it's going to be a true effort. I really do.
Okay, Kate, I will take it from there. Phil, hear me out. This was up for discussion, not for vote. That's a big different thing. My suggestion, Phil, and I've always been fair, is if you go back with your housing partnership and give an outline so people know what they're voting on, who's going to be on it, what's going to be done, and the timelines and so on, bring it back to us and whoever wants to volunteer from a board. I don't have an issue with that. That's what you want. We've had the discussion. You see, you got some people ready to do it, but we don't have, nobody knows on this board how it's going to be outlined. So if you brought that back, even for the next meeting, that's fine. That Katie, John, Sarah, I would know what you guys are looking for and how this is going to occur. But you've asked people to participate, but we don't know. There's nothing concrete of, when you want to do this, how you want to do it, and all that. If you have an outline, I'd ask you to go back, and I think that's a very simple thing to get, Phil, and we'll put it on the agenda.
I'll make a motion right now. I'll make a motion.
We don't need another meeting to discuss this.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. Either we want to move forward.
Okay, Sarah.
Or we should all go on the record and
interrupted me. Sarah, very simple. What are we going to vote on? To vote for what? Who knows? Let's to work for somebody? No. I do things in a business standpoint. You tell me what's exactly expected of me. Boom, 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 boom. That's how we vote. We don't vote willy-nilly like, oh, this is great for the town, and let's hug trees. No, give us something in writing.
Where every member of the planning board stands.
I'm going to make a motion.
Excuse me, Phil, you already made a motion. There's a motion without a second on the floor. You move to accept the local housing partnership invitation and to work with them for a joint committee to work with the ZBA on the inclusionary zoning bylaw. There was no second, but you did make that motion.
Second, Sarah.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
In fact, could you read the motion again, please?
Hold on. Phil moved to accept the Walpole Housing Partnership invitation and work with them for a joint committee to work with them on the inclusionary zoning bylaw.
And could I make an amendment to that motion?
No, the motion's been made,
Seconded already.
I make a motion to make an amendment.
and it was already seconded, so we're already on the table.
But I can make a motion, I can amend it.
You can, we
We
have,
amend things all the time at town meeting after.
I think if you wanted to do something like that, the proper way would be to withdraw your motion and then make a new motion then.
correct.
I can amend.
You
the
need to
motion.
withdraw the motion and the second.
And then start fresh again.
Start fresh, yeah.
Whoever seconded will have to agree.
If you want to do that, Phil, I'll withdraw my second.
Yeah, I do want to, yeah.
Okay, so I withdraw.
And I withdraw my motion and I will make a new motion. My motion is that the planning board accept the invitation from the housing partnership to work on a joint committee to work on inclusionary zoning bylaw, and will and the premise also that the zoning board of appeals would join that joint committee.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'm wondering, Phil, if you could say that the ZBA will be invited.
But the ZBA will be invited to join that committee.
Okay, I would second that.
Okay, so what we have is a motion for the planning board. So you've made the motion for the entire planning board.
Well,
Did everybody understand that? So if this goes, the whole planning board, if it goes in favor, the whole planning board isn't voted for it, not like representatives. Pointing that out, that's all.
yeah, so the intention is that there would be representatives.
No, it doesn't, you didn't say that in the motion.
I will add that to the motion.
How many?
Yeah.
Let's start again, and we're gonna withdraw it and then do it again.
Okay.
I
So
withdraw my second.
I make a motion that the planning board accept the invitation from the housing partnership to send one or two members, to appoint one or two members to join a joint committee, and that the zoning board of appeals will also be invited to join that joint committee, and each board will send one or two members to be determined at the first meeting of the joint committee.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Based upon your motion, Phil, the first part I didn't have an issue with, one or two, that's fine. The second part could be a little dicey, and the fact that if the zoning board refuses, then it kind of screws up our vote, if you follow that.
I just said we're gonna invite them.
Invite them to be part of it, and okay, fine, we'll let it ride like that. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. We'll start with Phil.
Aye.
Kate?
I abstain pending hearing from the zoning board.
Okay. John?
I'll vote aye, I believe.
Sarah?
Aye.
Okay, and I vote no because there's nothing out there for it. So there you go. You got your vote.
So the motion passes.
Yep, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. All right, moving on.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, I know you've addressed it, but since you spoke and said that members of the public will not be allowed to speak, there have been a couple different questions from the public.
Tonight, this is no different if you watch the selectmen. This was discussion among our members, and that's what it said, a discussion. So, and I'm gonna go Robert's rules, I'll even go open meeting laws. It did not say public discussion allowed. So if you saw this and you said, oh, they're gonna discuss among themselves, you may not care. Now, if people from the public chime in, then we also have, that's an issue. My opinion is you violated the open meeting law. Had we posted that we wanted to have discussion, but more importantly, aside from the open meeting law, this was a discussion among ourselves, okay?
Sure, it's just the public asked, will there be a future meeting where they can speak? So I'm just wondering if you could address that.
Well, what should happen, hasn't happened, is someone should, from the Walpole Housing Partnership, should come in and want to do a presentation of what they want to do. And if that time and they want to have a joint meeting and open it up, that's fine. That would be the time to do it. Okay?
All right.
Not shutting them down. I'm just saying that would be the time to do it so it can get posted and everything else. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
All
I
right.
just wanted to address that for the people that were wondering.
Yep. Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda, we have Al Sarabi Estates, and I have from the engineering firm that says, on behalf of the applicant, I request an extension without discussion to my first meeting in March, and that he requests an extension up through March 31st, 2021. So my first motion will be make a motion to allow Al Sarabi Estates an extension up through March 31st, 2021. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, all's in favor? Phil, I'm gonna have to unmute.
Aye.
Yeah, okay. Katie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Jack? Aye. All right, now, Ms. Delaney, what do we got? Unmute, Kate.
Give me a second. At 7:15, we have Renma subdivision, so probably 7:20 on March 4th.
What's the subdivision?
Renma, Bristol.
Oh, Bristol. Oh, yeah.
That's
Industrial subdivision?
I'm sorry?
Industrial subdivision?
That's
yes.
the one that held open, Sarah,
They
forever.
just keep continuing it, Sarah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Yeah, put them on 7:30, I guess.
7:20?
7:20, okay. We will continue this public hearing until March, what did you say?
March 4th.
March 4th at 7:20 for Al Sarabi Estates. And there'll be no notices or anything else. That will be the only notice, and we'll continue at that time. Thank you. All right, and I think this is the final one we have on our agenda, Lincoln Estates. And that was supposed to be a 7. Oh, am I still on?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Some reason I went, oh, something happened. Okay, there we go. All right, the hour being after 7:30, we have a public hearing for Lincoln Estates. But before I go any further, might as well get the issues right on the table. There is a problem with ownership. We have a application that lists 2 owners at specific addresses, and we have a DIS that lists owners at different addresses. So to open up and go ahead, we really can't do because who is the owners? That's the question. All right. And with that being said, my suggestion to the team representing Lincoln Estates is probably want to straighten that out and just re-advertise. And with that being said, I assume Mr. Truax, you're representing Lincoln Estates?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Could you just run that by me one more time, please?
Okay, it's very simple. Is we have Lascivitas signing something on Short Street, and Hassenegger signing something on a PO box in Norwood, and the DIS has Hassenegger signing something in Walpole, and Lascivitas signing something at 593 Lincoln. So there's two different addresses, and we don't know if they're 2 different owners. So that's a problem.
So you're talking about the owner's address that's in the Form C, the application?
In the application, you have John Hassenegger's address. I may get it backwards. One is a PO box in Walpole. You go to the DIS, and it's another one of a PO box in Norwood. So therefore, you can't say that you have no idea We can't attest to whether that's the same owner. And the same thing with Lasivita. They did one on Short Street, and they also did the other one on Lincoln Road. So.
Excuse me, Jack, it was Polly Lane.
Polly Lane, okay, Shorts, yeah, that's right. It ends Polly Lane.
I believe they're actually correct. They've been adjusted on each sheet. They are in link, looks like. For the Civitor, it says 107 Polly Lane, East Walpole, Mass. On both the Form C and the signature on page number 11.
But you go to DIS, John, it's a different address.
Is DIS something else I'm missing here?
Yeah.
DIS, just for the public, is
yes, okay. I see.
So we have that issue right out of the chute. So we can't, right now, we don't, who is the owner? That's the problem. Okay, as I've done since I've been doing this forever, my advice is I would never encourage an applicant to go forth because, you could get appealed on that. You might win, but we all know how appeals go. Whether it's valid or not, it's going to tie you up for a while. But it's very clear that you have two different ownerships. You have two owners with two different addresses, or could have four owners for all we know. So
let me ask you, Mr. Chairman, so you're saying the procedure to go forward would be at our risk, or you're saying it would be best to re-advertise and re-notify abutters, or just re-advertise? My suggestion, you have to re-notify the abutters too, only because you're going to do it at a different meeting. I am not encouraging, I'm telling you, no, you can't go forward. We can't allow with two different ownerships. You know. All right. Well, you kind of said two things there, but.
Well, I've said that in the past, Rob, about different stuff. On this particular one, you're right out of the gate. So,
okay.
Who's on first is basically what it comes down to.
So we have to re-advertise, re-notify abutters, and file new applications.
Yeah, and whichever's right. Is the DIS right? Is the application right, or is it a little bit of both? So that someone comes into the office or any member of the public wants to look at it, they know that, okay, now I understand. Okay?
So if we bring the package back next week, could you give us an idea of when a hearing date could be?
Can I?
Yeah, yeah. Can you? Like, can we set a hearing date?
That would be, Ms. Delaney can tell you the durations, how it has to go. It's a matter of timing with the papers and stuff.
So, what do we need?
Yeah, you're going to be at least a month. It would probably be April 1st or April 15th. Because I'm going to need 2 weeks.
To get it in the paper?
Yeah. This is what, Mark, this is, yeah, I'm gonna say it would probably be April 1st. That's a guess. Or April 15th. That would be your call.
Can't hear you, Rob. You're muted.
Yeah.
Rob?
Sorry.
There he is.
So you're saying we can't go forward? We don't have a choice?
Yeah, I'm saying you have 2 applications.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, and I guess it is what it is. I can't, I'm not going to argue with you, but.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, does the board need to vote to withdraw this one?
That's what I was going to ask. If you want to make a request to allow this to be withdrawn without prejudice, Rob, we can do that so it doesn't have any issues down the road for you.
What about the fees?
What do you mean, what about the fees?
We don't lose the fees,
Rob,
correct?
we're here tonight. We're not talking about fees. I love everybody. I don't want to talk about fees. Okay.
Okay.
They'll be doubled.
All right. I would make a request to withdraw this without prejudice.
Okay. I'll make a motion to allow the applicant to withdraw without prejudice for Lincoln Estates. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Phil,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay,
Okay, we'll refile it next week. Thank you.
all right, make sure, hey, Rob, be understood that the dates with the paper get very
I got it.
edgy, and if you miss it by a day, you miss it by a week.
Gotcha.
Or with us, every 2 weeks, so that's what it comes down to. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I think, all right, thank you, Rob, and that's all we have on the agenda tonight, so make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
We have TMZ.
TMC.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, that's right, Sarah. We have
TMC,
TMZ.
Jack.
Yep, TMZ. Kyle,
TMZ.
your plans are all set?
Yes, they are. Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Make a motion to endorse the plans for TMC. Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay, Phil,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay, we have a motion and 5-0. All right, now, I know some people want to sign them, so legally, we only need 3 signatures, so is everybody gonna come in and sign it, or what's the deal?
I could do it.
Phil can do it, Sarah can do it, John can do it. Okay, so there's at least 3. All right, that's all we need. Okay, and
So what, can you tell me, I don't know if it's Kate, when that has to be done by? The signature,
It doesn't matter, any day next week.
next week, okay.
I need to know who seconded the last 2 motions, the one to withdraw and the one to endorse on the 2nd.
did.
I don't know who, excuse me, you did?
I did.
John? On both of them?
Both.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's it.
all right, so I'll do the motion again, make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Phil, okay. All those in favor, Phil,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Jack, aye. All right, it's done.